In this video, I explain how I built a pallet bar, step by step. It's a step-through video. Let's get at it. This is a video of the completed bar. So now I'm going to take it back and go step by step how we put this bar together. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and share this with other bar lovers. The first thing you want to do is find some pallets. Businesses don't like empty pallets, so they're very easy to find and they usually are glad that you're taking them. The pallet bar I'm building today is going to be in my basement, so I tried to find pallets that are on the cleaner side. To start the main wall under the bar, I'm going to need 2 pallets that are the same height. These 2 pallets are pretty clean and they're both just under 40 inches tall, so this is a good start. The next thing I did is just stand these 2 pallets on end at the location where I want the bar to be. I do want the bar here because I wanted to match a bar that I built last year that's on the outside of the house. My plan here is to build a bar wall the width of 2 pallets, then connect 3 supporting walls to those pallets, then secure it to the basement wall and secure it to the basement floor. This picture may explain it a little better. You can see I have 2 full pallets at the top of the picture, and then the 1, 2, 3 supporting walls that I'll add to it. And once this is all put together nice and solid, we'll slide it to the wall and mount it to the floor and the basement wall. So I went back out to the yard to the pallets that I haven't used yet to start cutting those support walls. And in my head, I was thinking of walls that were at least, 8 to 10, maybe even a foot long, would give the bar nice support so it would not tip over. All right, I have the first 2 support walls cut. Just for reference, I'm going to call this one the left wall. And the other one I'm going to call the middle wall. I still have to cut a third. So I'm back to the left support wall here, and you can see as I line it up with the original pallets, it's coming up a little short on the bottom. I'm just going to cut a little piece off of one of the pallet slats to build that out a little bit so we have something to nail to down by the floor. And there's a little picture of that build out on the bottom. It's just 1 piece of wood, 1 screw. This left supporting wall is coming out relatively straight, so we're going to go ahead and put some screws in that and anchor it to the front wall. So in order to cut this support wall the right length, we had to take off the pallet decking. So in putting it back on, this is going to be the first time we attach the support wall to the front wall. So as I move the camera above this so you can see, when I put this piece of decking on, it's going to be 3 screws into the support wall, which is on the bottom right side of your screen, and 3 screws into the front wall. So this will be the first time that these 2 pieces are attached. This middle wall kind of has a lip on one side, so I'm going to slide a piece of pallet wood in there to make it even as possible. And it's the kind of way it goes. You just piecemeal it together and put a bunch of screws in to make it solid. The front wall is made of 2 pallets. This is the spot where those 2 pallets meet each other. And I'm going to put a piece of the pallet decking connecting the front 2 pallets together. And then we're going to build the middle support wall right off of that piece of decking. And again, this is a view from above. You could see this is the spot where the 2 front pallets meet. And once I put that piece of decking in there, the support wall will fit right against that decking perfectly. So I have the 2 pieces of the front wall lined up pretty good. And I'm going to put that decking on the face. And I pre-drill all of this wood because it's not the best quality wood in the world, so it splits. You pre-drill that, you have some better results putting screws through it. So this is the first time that the two pallets that make up the main wall are being screwed together. They're the two pallets in the red circle. I ran into a problem putting the middle support wall on because there was nothing to nail to it. So I took a piece of wood from the middle of a pallet and screwed it onto the front wall. So the support wall would wrap that wood and I could screw it in from the sides. 8 screws later and that middle wall really came out solid. So for the final supporting wall on the right side of the bar, the first thing I did was screw 2 2x4s to the back of the bar. That way, when I'm putting the supporting wall in, I have something that I could screw into. The third supporting wall snugs right up to that 2x4. So after I put a few screws to hold that in, I also added this little triangle piece of wood, and I was able to secure that with screws from the front of the bar and from the side of the bar. So it tightened up the wall pretty well. So I'm on the outside of the first support wall here, and I'm just adding some pallet pieces to make sure each wall is flat and square, so I'll be able to cover this at a later time. This is a video of the 3 support walls that are now attached to the front of the bar. So this is basically the bones of the whole bar, and we will build from this. As you can see, it does resemble that picture we drew up in the beginning. To anchor our bar to the basement wall, the first thing we did was locate the studs. There were 2 studs within the distance of the support wall, but the second stud did not fall where we could drill right through the support wall. So what we did was we added these 2 pieces of wood inside the support wall, and we anchored them with 1 5/8 screws to the support wall itself. And then we drilled through that wood with 3-inch screws to make sure we reached the studs. Because the bar top that I'm using in this build is so heavy, I wanted to add some more support to the middle wall and to the left wall. So what we did was add 4x4s to each of those walls. We clamped the 4x4 in where it seemed appropriate, and then we anchored it through the top of the support wall as well as through the inside of the front wall. And once we anchored that middle wall, then we moved to the left wall and added a 4x4 there too. Here's an overhead view of that. The last structural thing I wanted to do to this bar was to make sure the 2 pallets were connected to each other that make up the front wall. So what I did was I slid in a couple 1-bys actually from the side of the bar, ran it right up through both of those pallets. The first one I clamped to the top of the 2 pallets, screwed them in, and then the second one we clamped midway through the pallets, about knee high, and I also screwed them in. So the basement floor where this bar is being installed is poured cement. The way we're going to secure the bar to the floor is with this ram set. So this ram set is a hammer activated device that uses a 22 charge to shoot hardened steel nails into masonry, cement, or steel. It is absolutely not a toy. I'm I'm probably going to do a separate video on how to use this thing properly, but you definitely need ear protection, eye protection, and a pair of gloves. If you don't know how to use this tool, get somebody that does. Kids should not be anywhere near this tool, and it also scares the heck out of pets. The ram set works excellent, and I doubt that this bar is going to be moving anywhere. This is the wood for the bar top. I have two pieces. Each piece is 8 feet long, 12 inches wide, and 4 inches thick. This wood weighs a whole lot, and that's why I went back and added those 4x4s to the original build of the frame of this bar. The goal for sanding this wood is just to make it safe to touch and to round the corners a little bit. I really don't want to change the shape all that much. I thought the wood had a pretty cool color, so after it was sanded smooth, the only thing I put on it was a clear finish. I had this fancy leg remaining from a previous build, so I rested it on the front of the bar, leveled it, and then I anchored it from the back with a couple 3-inch screws. The next thing I did was to fill in any areas on the front of the bar that might have had slats missing. That way, when I came back with the sheet goods that are going to run left to right, there's always something for them to nail to, especially right next to this leg. This bar top is going to be 24 inches wide. On the wall side of the bar, I added another 4x4. That's the third 4x4 we added to the structure of this base. It should have no problem carrying the weight of the bar top. So I got some strap ties and I got some corner angles, and that's pretty much the only hardware I'm going to add to this build. The strap ties I'm going to use to keep the two pieces of bar top together. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to mount the strap ties to one piece of the bar top in the yard and then carry that in and put it in place. And then we'll bring the second bar top in the house, put it in place next to the first, and once it's shimmed and at the right height, we'll screw in that strap to the second bar top. And here we brought the front bar top in. You can see the strap ties sticking up there. And then we laid it into place, and we used some plastic shims and some wooden shims to get it as level as we could. And then we're going to bring the second piece in a moment. Here's a picture of the second bar top piece in the building, and then we drop it in place. And we actually spent a lot of time trying to get the shims in the proper places so the bar wood would look good together. Neither piece is perfectly straight, and neither piece is really milled to be a bar top. Once we were happy with where the bar was sitting, we put the screws back in the strap ties to keep those two from not moving, and then we filled the whole top of the bar with tools. A friend of mine had some extra barn wood from a job that they did in their house, so I had it laid out on the floor here to get a pattern of what it might look like on the front of this bar. Before we could start putting the front of the bar on, we had one more piece of pallet decking to repair. That way we had even nailers across the whole front of the bar. We started on the left side at the top right under the bar, and we're only cutting lengths, so this process goes pretty quick. and should be done in a few minutes. This was just some beautiful wood, and I'm thrilled the way the front of this bar came out. The next thing to get covered is the side of this bar. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to window pane the whole side with this pine. It's like 1x1 pine. And then we're going to cut slats on a 45-degree angle and fill in from side to side. The next step was to go behind the bar and go under the bar top itself and cover that wall with some wood. We're going to move back to the front of the bar and put this piece of trim on the side here to hide this corner. So the right side of the bar had this fancy post and the left side had this plain 4x4. So the next thing I did was add a corbel to that 4x4 to try to make it a little fancier. And after that was spray painted black, I pre-drilled it and I screwed it to the bottom of the bar and to that left leg. And the last part of this side of the bar was just to spray paint that leg black so it kind of blended in a little better. So that one area of unfinished wood is kind of sticking out now, so I'm going to put some dark walnut stain on there. This has been one of the longest videos I have recorded, and I hope it was helpful. If it was, please leave me a comment. Consider subscribing to our channel. Both of those things are very helpful. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you next time.